So I wanted to record just some of the newest upgrade that we have to our church camera system. We do live stream our services every week, and we have had 2 cameras and a remote controller. They were AVIPAS cameras and remote, but kind of expensive, not the most expensive, but they're more than we could afford. But we're looking for a new camera, a third camera that we could work into the system that would come from the back and be basically a straight on shot of pastor up on the altar. So as we're looking around, I got a good deal on a budget camera, and so I decided to test it, see if it would fit into our current system without a lot of effort. And so here I want to just show you what I got. That's the camera right there. It does say it has AI auto tracking, which is something that I was really excited about. This isn't HDMI. I use HDMI from our cameras via a Ethernet extender or extenders. We also use an IP address on all our cameras that's then connected to the remote for controlling them. So this has everything that I wanted to match that. So what comes with it? One of the first things, and actually we're using the camera, so I'll show you that in a moment. Then we have a remote, and this is real important for setting up. USB cable. The USB cable became extremely important initially because I couldn't get any video on my monitor when I plugged in the HDMI cable. Because of that, what I ended up having to do was connect the USB cable to the back of the camera, attach it to my laptop, use the camera app on the laptop. Finally came up on there, and I could see the video. The important part of that is that's where the menu comes up when you start setting it up. So I needed to get that initially. The problem was it was set up under 4K, so that was the initial startup. It was a 4K. My monitors could not handle 4K, so I brought it down to 1080p, and that's what I'm at now. I do everything in 1080p because I use the ATEM Mini Extreme, and it does everything in 1080p max. It does also come with a wall mount, which is great because the 2 mounts I had to buy for what I had were an extra about $50. Another mount of some sort, I got to look at exactly how that fits on there. Some mounting brackets that help you mount it. It does come with a serial cable for connecting to the camera for controlling it. So if your controller is controlled by a serial cable, that it also comes with it. So all of that comes with it. So let me just change my camera angle here. There it is. So the camera that was behind me is just it's actually the camera that's going to be replaced by this one. So I had just a camcorder set up at the back of the church. And so here is the FoMaKo camera. Okay, right there. So that's what I've been using. You can see that it's working just fine with my multi-view. So here's the FoMaKo camera on the preview right now, and I do everything. This is our primary view, and that's what's being recorded. The preview is where I do all my updates. So let me just bring this back over here. All right, so with the cameras that I already have, I have the remote. So if I bring up this camera, so this is one of my original cameras, and you can just see, there we go. As I move my remote, you can see how smooth that moves. Depending on how fast I want to go, I can go fast, but it just moves kind of smooth. And that's what we really like. Now, everything that we do is set up as presets. So nobody ever sees, or very, very seldom sees the movement unless pastor is not standing where he normally stands, which sometimes happens, and then we adjust it. But we very seldom have to use this movement in a service. So let me go back to behind the scenes here. You can see I have, this is again the recorded or the live stream. This is preview. So we do all our adjustments of our cameras in the preview mode, so people normally don't see it. Now that generally starts out as a preset. So we will do that, and then we can switch to the camera. The third one that we have, this new FoMaKo camera. So we'll go back here to, there we go. So the FoMaKo camera, so this is the camera that I'm working on. So in my test, it's just sitting right here. When I use my remote on it, you can see that it works because it was able to connect. So once I set up the video in the menu, here I'll show you here. So I can set up the video format right there, and you can see the 4K. Okay, yeah, let's see right over here. There it is. The first two are 4K, P30 and P25. So the 4K format was too much for my monitors. I came down, and you can see right there, it came down to the 1080p. Once I did that, everything worked out great. I got good video everywhere I go. So once I figured out the video side, then I had to set up the network. Now the network is how I control all the cameras. So it's just going through our computer, our internal network, which I'm not going to show you my numbers, but I just changed it from DHCP. I turned it off. I then added in the IP address that connects with all the other IP address or works with all the other IP address, and I had to set up the gateway. So once I set up the IP address and the gateway to match the church network, I suddenly was able to see it on my remote, and it allows me to change it. Now, if you look, it starts out slow and it wants to speed up. So it's not quite as smooth. There's a little jerk there. And then it's a little slow. It's not quite as smooth. However, I was able to immediately set up presets for that camera also. The presets, again, we do all of that adjusting over here in the preview, so that when we finally go back to here, it's already on site. So I'm not too concerned with the camera speeds or the preset speeds. The other thing that we have is on here, these buttons down here all adjust the speeds. So I'll be playing with this, adjusting the speeds the way I want it to go, how fast it goes, how fast it moves, zoom speed, the PT, the pan and tilt speed, how fast it moves to the next preset setup. All of those speeds can be set up on the remote, so I'll be playing with that as we go. But that's something that I'll be doing once I get it set up where I want it to set up. So from here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change locations with all these cameras, put the Fomako PTZ camera in the back of the church. I'm going to use a tripod for right now, set it up, and I'm going to go up on the altar and walk around, and I'm going to show you the auto tracking, which is basically humanoid auto tracking. So it's not facial features, it's the fact that it's going to track a body, and the auto tracking so that it's going to track pastor. That has to be done with the remote, with this remote. I don't know if I can make that work with my remote yet or not. I'll be testing that also, but it'll be done at least on this remote. It's just clicking one of these little buttons down here at the bottom. Okay, the first one, the red one, F1, that turns off the auto tracking. F2 turns on the auto tracking. There it is. So if I move a little bit, it's going to track me, and I'll show you from a distance what it is, and I can turn that off. Okay, and it's going to come back to where I'm at, and then it's going to stay there. So the auto tracking feature, some of the presets, I'll show you the presets and how they move around to each of the different places on the church, and I'll add that in here in a moment. So give me a moment, I'll reset, and I'll be right back. So I now have 3 cameras set up. We have our 2 original AVIPAS cameras, and then we have this FoMaKo camera that I just picked up, and I attached it into the same system. So it's all running off of the AVIPAS remote controller. This is camera number 3, and that's what you're looking at right now at the front of our church. I got it set up for presets, so we can go camera 3, preset 2, that's where we're at. Preset 1 is right there. Preset 3 is a close-up of the center. And so you can choose anything you want. So now I can also change over to a different camera. So we got camera 2 is set up right now, and I can switch over to that. I can reset my camera 3 now. So I'll reset camera 3, and it's out of the picture, but it's on my multi-screen. And now I can switch over to camera 3 without any movement of the camera going on without it. And it's zoomed in. If I don't want that zoom in, or if I want to adjust slightly from here, put him right in the middle there, okay, I can do that. Or I can leave it over to the side over here, and there we go. Now I don't have those numbers in there. So I can move that around with my remote control. I can do that with any of the cameras. Here's camera 1, okay, showing the same spot. With camera 1, I can call in to a different location. While that's sitting there like that, in the background, I can move camera 2, and then just select camera 2. There it is. I can then move camera 3 while that's happening. And I can move, oops, that's camera 2. Camera 3 is then wherever I want it. So I now have 3 cameras working, all on the same system. Different companies. That FoMaKo fit in perfectly with this. It just saw it right away. As soon as I got the IP address in there, it immediately saw it, and I was able to work it into the system. So really nice camera. I think I need to slow down some of the movements. It's a little bit jerky right now. I think I can adjust that. That's a capability within the menu system that it has, and it's a capability on the remote that I can adjust the system that way. So here I am at the front of the church, and we are currently, this is probably about 50 feet, 75 feet to the back where the camera is. Currently the camera is just sitting on a tripod. It will eventually be mounted on the wall back there. But what I want to show here is the auto tracking that this is set up with. So it's tracking basically a humanoid form that's in front of it. So on the remote, which may cause us a little bit of problem, but I think we can get around that. But it's on the remote. It's just a simple push button. The green light on the camera actually changes or flashes at me, and it should have zoomed in at this point. Now I can move any place I want to here, or a pastor can move any place he wants to here. There's nothing that's stopping it or telling it to pick up this other than the fact that it's picking up a human figure up here. And he can go from anywhere he wants to. So he can stand over here, he can stand here, he can go behind the altar if he needs to or wants to during the service, and it's going to track him. So this is going to be a tracking camera to basically get a close-up from the back of what's going on. You can turn it off and it will stay basically where it's at. So now as I move, it's not tracking me anymore. So just wanted to share with you that part as I go through the setup of here. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the FoMaKo 4K PTZ and auto tracking camera. It's a real nice setup, real nice system. Comes with a 30-page manual that makes it pretty easy, but can also get quite far more than I need to have. Some of you will probably like that, but I didn't need that to make this work right out of the box. All I needed to do was change the video, and I was able to get the menu up, and then it was pretty easy to work with after that. And being able to set it up to my existing system is just awesome. I am really excited about this. The price was right. Didn't break the bank for us to get a new camera. I thought I was going to be spending about twice this much, twice the cost of this on the new camera. So this was a good setup, or a good camera to get started with again and add to our system. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, just throw them in the comments. I try to get back to them fairly quickly. If you like this, please like the video, and I'll try to make more as I upgrade to other new pieces of equipment. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.